Hey guys, how's it going? Good to see you all again. Today I have the Scar 15, the 2022 model, and I'm comparing it to the 2021 model from last year. Um, this was one of my favorite 15 inches from last year. I mean, even though there were some issues I had with it that kind of kept it from wanting it to be my daily driver, it looks like the Scar 15 2022 model seems like it's getting there. So let's just talk about the differences in terms of specs. We got Intel now. If you want AMD, you're gonna have to go with the Strix series, which has typically been a bit of like a lower tier compared to the Scar. The Scar is like their premium end for the Strix series. So this year you got the i9 11900H in this one, and I have 32 gigabytes of GDDR5 RAM running at 4800 megahertz per second, which is faster than last year's memory, and I think that's a big reason why I'm seeing some big boosts in certain games, especially more CPU bound games. Um, but the design is almost identical. I'll go into some of the differences between the two of them. But one thing I really just want to highlight really quickly in terms of the ports, the only difference is there's now a USB Type C and a Thunderbolt port on the back of the Scar 15 2022 model, while last year's version had a Type A port and a USB Type C port. So having two Type C ports, one being Thunderbolt, is very, very beneficial, especially in this modern day and age where last year's model only had one USB Type C port, and that was used as a display port as well. So if you're connecting to a monitor, that's it. You had to rely only on Type A ports, which is just frustrating, and it was one reason why I did not like using it that much. I mean, it doesn't sound like a big deal, but to me it really, really was. The keyboard deck is slightly different. There's some different styling. I really like the way they look. They look this year. I mean, there's like some extra detail that you only notice if you get right on down in there. There's like some ROG logos etched in, along with a white like grayish line going diagonally up. I mean, it's I think all they did was just change the keyboard deck. But it makes for a bit of a nice appearance. What I do want to talk about though is the keyboard. I think it's a step down this year. The keyboard lighting isn't as sharp, it isn't as crisp, and if you're looking at the Windows key, you can kind of see the little keycaps, the little buttons, while on the 2021 version, the lighting just looks sharper, and you're not, and it's just more of a uniform color on the keycaps. If that matters to you, but I mean, it kind of does. And this year the keyboard is silent. You can't hear that, can you? But then I'm actually gonna lift the mic up and bring it closer. Last year's version had an optomechanical keyboard, and you can hear that as you're clicking. I definitely prefer the feel of this keyboard, but I can understand why having a more silent keyboard could be useful as well. I'll go into more details in the full review, but yeah. So I just I prefer the optomechanical keyboard, and I just feel I think this is the same keyboard that was on the regular Strix line, not the Scar, and the Scar is typically reserved for the higher end version. So I think the keyboard is a bit of a step down. I'll report back more in the full review. By the way, this is just a quick first look. If you have any questions that you want me to cover in terms of comparing this to any of the laptops I've spoken about, or any of the laptops I've used tons, just about everyone last year. So I think I can provide some value on that front. So leave me a comment, and if you like this video, like it. And if you want to see me do more videos, which I'm going to do, I have tons of laptops coming in. Get subscribed. I would really appreciate that. All right, so then moving on. The speakers, I think they sound identical to last year's. And I was curious. Like I just finished reviewing there's Razer Blade 17. And I spent a good amount of time talking about the speakers. And so I think the Razer has a bit more accuracy, but the Scar is a bit more dynamic. You know what? How about I'll try playing a test. Let's see how that does. Let's see. Okay, so this right now is the Razer Blade 17 2022 model. Okay, this is live tests, but so let's see how the Scar sounds, and I guess afterwards I'll be able to talk about what I'm hearing and what I do prefer, and I'll see how it actually comes through in the actual recording. No, I take it back. The Scar sounds better. There's only 4 speakers versus 8. This is a much larger chassis, and the speakers take up a good chunk of the keyboard deck. So and the Scar has speakers coming out from the top by the lid, and then some more at the bottom. I think there's only 4 speakers, but I think I got a better sound experience from the Scar. Well, there's a speaker test. Noise, you're gonna have to wait for the full review. I haven't really gotten a chance to benchmark too many games and try to test the noise. But what I did notice is the silent mode isn't actually silent compared to the Scar 15 from last year. Any ROG laptop with an AMD chip last year was able to get dead silent once you set the silent profile. I'm still hearing the fans ramp up. Granted, this is my first day with it, and it's still downloading updates. I'm downloading a whole bunch of games in the background, so we'll see what happens. All right, so next display, just really quickly, 240 hertz versus 165 hertz. And from the bit of gaming I've been playing, it's definitely noticeable. Playing some Halo Infinite multiplayer, I'm a lot more accurate with the 240 hertz versus the 144 hertz. Like I think like if you're just scrolling and you're trying to do like a blind test, you might fail until you pick up a mouse and keyboard. And there's been a lot of studies that show that higher refresh rates do have an impact on your performance when you're playing an FPS shooter or something like that. And in terms of brightness, it looks like the new one's brighter. So we're getting a higher refresh rate, and we're getting a brighter screen, and the contrast looks great. I get a lot of backlight bleed on on the 2021 model. Just about every single ROG 2021 model except for the S17 with the 4K panel and the Duo series. But other than that, every Scar I've had really bad backlight bleed. I went through probably 4 or 5 Scar 17s with the QHD 165, and they all had really, really bad backlight bleed. And speaking of the Scar 17, I just got word that mine's shipping tomorrow. So when I do the final review, it'll be a comparison between the 17-inch and the 15-inch. So yeah, again, make sure you're subscribed. I didn't really test the battery yet. I need more time with it, but it's not looking like it's gonna compete with Ryzen. I think Ryzen's the battery champ, and the 2022 6000 series Ryzen CPUs, I think those are gonna be the best in terms of battery. But I mean, you're getting the full i9 12900H performance on this. I ran Timespy. And if you watched my Razer Blade 17 2022 review that I just wrapped up recently, and just like I said, just subscribe and give that a watch. I mentioned that this 17-inch was throttling when running Timespy, and with any other CPU task that maxes out the CPU, so I literally had to prop it up, and it's still throttled, but I was able to get a better score. So this running Timespy was not able to get it to throttle. The max on the CPU was like 95 degrees, which is not in throttle territory. The GPU wise, I haven't done much testing yet. It looks so on the GPU on Timespy, I got like a 12,405. I don't remember the exact number, but it's something similar to that. I'll make sure I throw up an image of it when I took it. But I haven't tested games yet. I will do that. So get subscribed for the main review. All right. Yeah, I think this is going to do it, guys. Leave me a comment on what you want me to tackle in the full review and what laptops you want me to compare it to. I think the best thing I could do is probably compare this to something like the GE66. I don't think I have one coming in. I have the GE76 coming in. But you know what? If you want to see a GE66, let me know and I'll see if I can acquire one somewhere. But all right, that's gonna do it, guys. Thanks a lot. Bye.